The following audio-supported podcast is intended for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. Please speak to a healthcare professional before making any treatment decisions. The guests on today's show were paid to participate in this podcast.
Hey, Thal Pals. It's your fellow patient advocate and friend, Nina Maria, and you're listening to Thal Pals, the Alpha Beta Revolution. Today, we're talking about caregivers and the support that's important for those who take care of our patients and our fellow Thal Pals. And I have Maria Saradpan with me.
Yeah.
You have a daughter with Thal.
Yes,
She's
I do.
10 years old.
Yeah.
Tell me about what that journey has been like for you, being a mom.
Well, Camila is my first child, and she's our daughter with thalassemia, so I only know how to be a mom of a thalassemia child. Now it just is life, you know? She doesn't know life outside of being a thalassemia patient. She actually loves going to the hospital, and we are just so well taken care of and adjusted that we're fine.
That's great. So you said she loves going to the hospital. What do you think, what roles are played in that it's a positive experience for her?
Yeah. I know we are very blessed, so lucky, because not all thalassemia patients have that same experience. But for Camila and our hospital, Rady Children's Hospital, she's been a patient there since she first had labs done at 2 weeks old, and then her first blood transfusion at 2 months old. First every 4 weeks, then every 3, and now currently every 2. And she is just doted on, loved on by the nurses, and she gets to do whatever she wants. Like, she gets the prize, a new toy from the prize box every time. She gets to play video games or watch TV, which are not normally things we do at home during the week. So it's just like her time to relax and be a princess. And she's fine. She just gets the blood. She knows she needs to get the blood. She's not fazed by the pokes anymore. She had a port before. She doesn't have a port anymore, but she's a pro with getting her IVs done. We'll prep it with Emma cream, and then she asks the nurse, if it's a new one who doesn't know her, okay, can you count to 3, please, and don't fish? and then that's it. We're there, and then every single time when it's the end, she's like, oh, we're done. We gotta go home.
Agios is a biopharmaceutical company that's fueled by connections with patient communities, healthcare professionals, partners, and each other. Building on these connections and the company's unmatched leadership in PK activation, Agios is pioneering therapies for rare blood disorders, including PK deficiency, thalassemia, and sickle cell disease. To learn more about thalassemia, visit rethinkthalassemia.com. To join the conversation with other patient allies, follow us on Instagram at Ally Voices Rising. That's Ally, A-L-L-Y, Voices Rising.
I love that she has had such a positive experience, going to the hospital and managing her treatments. What do you think as a mom you have contributed and taught her? How have you gotten her outlook so positive?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think I taught her anything. I think she's aware, and she, maybe not just from me saying, hey, you need to be grateful for this, but just seeing how grateful I am that she's alive and that she's my daughter, and that we have a great hospital, we have blood donors, and we have our faith. I think that might have rubbed off on her, just knowing how grateful I am that she's alive. And
I think that positivity and hope goes a long way, and especially with our young Thal Pals, they need to see that. They need to know that it doesn't have to be scary, and that there is lots of hope, and that we should be grateful for all of the things and how far that we have come. What was it like for you, first learning that she had thalassemia? Had you ever heard of thalassemia before?
No, I hadn't. Yeah.
So what was that like when they first told you what thalassemia is and that your daughter has it?
It was scary, girl. It was awful. Like you said, I had never heard the word thalassemia before, so of course I'm Googling and I'm finding all of the worst case scenarios, alpha thalassemia where they don't survive the pregnancy, or you see the pictures of the patients who don't get proper treatment, who have bone deformities and look very sick and anemic, and you just don't know. It was awful. It It was bad. But at the same time, I didn't know she was going to have it, you know? So, and I knew for sure I wanted to have her. That was, no question. Because every time I would go and the OBs found out that I was a carrier, they were like, well, you don't have, we could, I don't want to say it, but I was like, no, I'm going to have this baby. I just want to know what life is going to be like. And because thalassemia is so rare in this country, she didn't know how to help me. And she kept saying, okay, you're going to get to talk to a genetic counselor. That's when all your questions will be answered. And by the time I got to see the genetic counselor, I was already 8 months pregnant. And she looked at my big old pregnant belly, drew me a Punnett square, and was like, there's a 25% chance that your daughter will have thalassemia. And I said, okay, I know that, but what would it look like? What would life with thalassemia look like? Oh, I don't know. I'm not a thalassemia specialist. So I just had to figure it out on my own, And at that point, the ball's rolling. She's born, and she was beautiful and perfect and healthy, and, she's crying. Like, she had a loud voice. So she didn't look weak and sick to me. And obviously, so first thing, she survived the pregnancy, so thank God there. And of course, we found out she has beta thalassemia, not alpha, so it makes sense. She's actually hemoglobin E beta thalassemia. She was diagnosed with her newborn screening officially through every baby in California gets a blood test done through a heel stick, and they already knew that they were looking for thalassemia because I was found to be a carrier when I was pregnant with her, and my husband was also. And that's when they said, yes, okay, she has hemoglobin E beta thalassemia. And so now we know she has it, but we don't know what that's going to look like for her, because she could either go her whole life without needing blood transfusions, maybe need them when something happens, like she becomes sick, or just random ones, right? Or she might need them regularly when she gets older, or she might need them starting now for the rest of her life. Yeah. And so when she was newborn, just fresh out, she had lots of healthy fetal hemoglobin, and she was fine. And so what our routine looked like was just going to the hospital every 2 or 3 weeks, I don't remember, just for labs. And so that was the routine we got used to, in addition to everything else with being a new parent, So I was learning how to change diapers, change clothes without, they're so fragile. I was like, oh, okay. I don't want to break her arm when I put the clothes on. But then, so with that learning curve came, this was just part of our routine. Like we go see the pediatrician, and then I go to the children's hospital and we get these labs done. And it all just seemed to fall into a routine, because when we would go to the labs, it was, for a long time, well, at least for a couple months, we were told, okay, she looks good, we'll just come back next week, or next time we'll test it again. And then so when she was 2 months old, so we had been doing this maybe 4 or 5 times already, we came and expected to hear, she's fine, come back next time and we'll see. They said, okay, her hemoglobin is pretty low today, and she's fallen drastically on the growth chart, so she's going to stay for a blood transfusion. Yeah. Even at that point, they said, she's going to need one now, but we don't know what that means, because she's got that intermediate type of thalassemia. So maybe she needs one now, and then she'll be fine.
Right.
But every time after that we would go, she did need it. And so even then they couldn't officially say they just didn't know. It was like we have to figure it out as we go kind of thing. But after 2 or 3 years, I figured, okay, she's just transfusion dependent.
And as you were kind of going through this journey and this process and understanding, that there was, going to be, this is something that you guys are going to have to tackle and do with her, what were the feelings, especially not having an example? What were you feeling at that time?
I was feeling scared, and I was feeling ashamed, embarrassed. I didn't want to tell anyone about thalassemia because I felt guilty that I gave this to my daughter because it's genetic. And of course I was scared. I had never had a blood transfusion before. I don't think I even knew anyone that had a blood transfusion. And here was my baby, my newborn baby, 2 months old, and I'm watching her get hooked up and receive a blood transfusion. It was scary.
Now you are kind of connected with the Thal community. Tell me about the first time that you got connected with another caregiver.
Sure. It was here in San Diego at the hospital. I think because I was so out of it and just kind of in survival mode and not doing well with being a new thalassemia mom, somebody at the hospital saw me struggling and was like, okay, I think she needs a friend, and tried to get me to reach out to a mom who is more established and had already, I guess, been looking to see if there was anybody else out there and was unsuccessful with finding anyone because it's so rare. And at our hospital, we don't have a lot of thalassemia patients. So she gave me the number, and I thought, okay, yeah, but it was a bad time. Mm-hmm. At that point, Camila was, maybe 5 months old, and she just had a port put in. She just had surgery, and then also at the back of my mind, I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to call this woman and say, hey, my daughter also has thalassemia. Do you want to be my friend? It seemed weird, right? So I didn't reach out. And then I continued to not do well. And somebody else, another person from the hospital was like, hey, did you ever call that mom? And I was like, no, things got crazy. And she's like, she's asking for you. So she gave me the number again. She's like, just call. And then so that time I did. And then I was so glad that I did. Yes. Yeah, we met at the hospital. And her daughter was 6 years old, I think, at the time. And that's the only other person I'd ever seen with thalassemia. And she looked just like any other kid. You know, not like anything that I saw online when I was looking up what thalassemia would look like in the future for my daughter. So it was a huge deal. And so she was beautiful, healthy, happy, just gorgeous little girl. But she was hooked up to blood, just like my daughter gets hooked up to blood. So it just made a huge difference for me to see that. And then just connect with her mom, Erica. So that little girl is now our friend, Ella, and her mom, Erica, is our friend.
What did it mean to you to see that her daughter looked just as any other?
It meant that Camila was going to be fine. That it just having that glimpse into the future was huge for me. It was hope.
How has your relationship grown from that point?
Oh, we are close. We consider each other family at this point. Yeah, Erica right away was like, okay, you need to connect with the Cooley's Anemia Foundation. We need you to connect with the San Diego Blood Bank too, because thanking donors is huge and empowering, and it's good for the kids to see where the blood comes from. And she was right, because that meeting the blood bank, connecting with the blood bank, getting to thank donors, that was huge. That was such a shift in my outlook on the way things are. And I realized that Camila is here for a reason, and she's now like a poster child for the San Diego Blood Bank ever since she was a little baby, and they had this campaign of give the gift of life. Can you just imagine a little baby, not even 1 year old yet, with blood flowing, and she's holding on her hand like, give the gift of life. Of course, that's gonna get people to donate blood, right? So the blood bank loved that, and me just getting to share our story and telling people my daughter has this blood disorder and she is alive because of you, because of blood donors like you, it just, something snapped in me, and I wasn't ashamed anymore, and I wasn't embarrassed, and I wasn't like trying to hide it. I was proud.
Where did that change? Where did that come from, do you think? Where was that shift?
From connecting with the blood bank. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that changed my outlook entirely. Because now it goes from us being victims and, oh, poor us, and this is something to be ashamed of. I did this. It turned into, no, this is her purpose. She's getting people to donate blood that never had before, and it's not only for her, it's for so many people need blood. Yeah. And I mean, I'll be honest, I'd never donated before I became the parent of somebody who needs blood transfusions, just because. I mean, it's not like we're bad people when we don't donate blood. We don't
Just
think
don't
of
think
it.
about it.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of people don't understand the need. I think a lot of times you think like, oh, the blood is for like emergency victims or like it's for just random things. They don't need that much. They don't think that there are people out there, kids and adults, that need it to live.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what the shift was for us, was getting to be that face for people that makes them realize, oh, this is why I need to donate blood for her and other people like her.
That's beautiful. And that's something that you did with Erica and Ella?
Yes, and we still do. Yeah, we'll go to blood drives and thank donors, and we have our own blood drive every year in honor of World Thalassemia Day. And yeah, it's grown, and at first it was just us two families, and now we have a network of maybe 12, I'd say, local families in Southern California that come out and participate in our blood drive and bring their family and friends to it too. And it's just it's a beautiful, family-friendly, positive day. Yeah, well, we go to a park here in San Diego, and we have a blood mobile here collecting blood. We do a walk. We do our care walk for the Thalassemia Foundation, and we stay and we have fun. We've got activities and raffles and music, and it's just all around good.
That's amazing. I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, but your connection with Erica kind of was the launching point for all of this, and connecting with, someone who you could relate to.
Yes, exactly. I'm sorry. Yes, it was. Because she's the one who told me about CAF. She's the one who told me about the blood bank. And then from there, not only that, we just maintained a relationship. And anytime that I had any question, now I had someone that I could ask that could actually understand. It's not that our family that knew wasn't supportive or weren't supportive. They just didn't have that personal firsthand experience to relate to. So, yes, having her.
What ways has that allowed her to support you? Like, how have you gotten support from that connection?
Her daughter is 6 or 7 years older than mine. So everything that Camila's gone through or going through currently, Ella's already done it, right? So I just have to say, has Ella done this, or what happened when that, what would you guys do, or what did you do? And she has an answer. And if she doesn't have an answer, she knows where to find the answers. And I never had that before. She's like, well, we should ask Eileen, we should connect with CAF, we should find out from them. Or I know she, not only was she a big help, and my personal relationship with her and Ella, but she was connected with so many other thalassemia patients too, adults and other moms. And so she was the starting point, just my one friend who I could rely on for everything. And then when they had the first one that I attended, conference in San Diego, forget it. That's family now, because now I was introduced to the Thalassemia Foundation, and I met so many more people, and my network just grew, and my heart just grew, because now I have not only my one support person that was already filling me up, like I didn't know I needed more until I met them all, and now had an even bigger network of people to rely on and to be there for us. And if anything scary were to happen, they know exactly what we're going through, and they're there checking up and asking really relevant questions to what's going on in our situation.
Did you ever imagine that all of that would have come from making that one phone call that you felt a little reluctant to do?
No, I think I was just in survival mode and not even thinking about the future. So, no, I had no idea. I don't know what I was expecting from it, but something told me, like, it's okay, like, just call.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that I did.
It was meant. Yeah. I think so often when we're feeling isolated, we don't imagine that there are others that do feel the way we feel. And there's such an incredible world and community of Thal Pals out there that make such a difference in our lives. That connection is, priceless.
Right. Yes.
How do you think that you have supported Erica?
Well, I'd like to think that I provide for her what she provided for me, because before, even though she had the Cooley's Anemia Foundation, she didn't have anyone local, So she was connected with CAF, and they would see their Thal Pals at the conferences every year and get to talk to them that way, but she didn't have anyone here. And I know when we first met, she was grateful I think just as grateful as I was to meet her, because I know she was looking for a long time for someone to connect with here. And then so once we connected, and now my outlook changes, right? So now I'm empowered, and I'm like, oh, I got to do a blood drive. So I hosted my first blood drive with my husband for our daughter's first birthday. And it was a big deal. It was like at a restaurant, in the parking lot of the restaurant, and we had entertainment and lots of food. And I mean, it was big, but it was our first one, so kind of a mess. But the point was that there were so many people. Like, we had one little bus that could accommodate maybe 23 people, but so many more people wanted to donate blood than that there was like a 3-hour wait list. But so when Erica saw that all, she came up to me and she's like, this is what I've needed you, because I've wanted to do this. And then so from there, from seeing that one that I tried to do on my own, we've connected, and we've been able to have way better blood drive community outreach events.
Oh, that's wonderful. How has having Ella impacted Camila through her journey?
That's her big sister. That's her best thalassemia, her best blood bud. Oh. So they just act like sisters. I don't like Camila. They love to get their blood transfusions together. Camila always asks when we're on the way, is it a blood transfusion I get to have with Ella? Because at one point, Ella's been every 2 weeks for a long time, but Camila was every 3 weeks before that for a really long time. So they would only match up every 6 weeks, And then even then, it wasn't always going to work out because of scheduling. So when they got to be together, it was a big deal. And we would have they would wear matching pajamas. We would figure out what movie we're going to watch. I'll get the treats and the drinks. I'll get the food. It was like a party at the hospital.
It's amazing. I love that they have that connection. It's so special, especially, being so young and seeing that. I think a lot of us kind of grew up in isolation without having that kind of connection or knowing anyone else. And I think it makes a world of a difference.
It does. I'm so grateful for Camila, because she's had it her whole life. She's known Ella since she was a baby, before she was 1. And I know Erica would say, and Ella would say, that they are also grateful that Camila is in Ella's life. Because even little Ella, she's not so little anymore. She's, I think, 16 or 17 now. But when we met her, she had a port, and she had a port for a long time. And Camila had a port also, but it stopped working right away. And we had to either have it replaced or removed when she was just 4. And we, together, even with Camila included in the decision-making, decided to remove it. And Ella was like, what? How can you have thalassemia without a port? Like, it was like an emotional support thing for her. Like, it was security blanket, I think. But then after Camila had hers out and she was receiving her blood through IV every time, it just blew Ella's mind. And then when it came time to maybe replace or remove her, she was like, she'll tell you, because Camila did it, I can do it too. Wow. And she's been port-free too now for a long time.
Amazing. I love that even, the younger one can help the older one.
Yeah, they help each other. They support each other.
And that's beautiful. We talk about, the support that the 2 girls have gotten and between you, the 2 moms. Mm-hmm. Kids going through Thal have their own burdens, but their parents and their caregivers carry a lot of that weight for them. Excuse me. As they grow up, as a caregiver yourself and someone who's connected what do you think, what type of support is needed for caregivers specifically?
See, this is hard for me to answer because I feel so well supported. What type of support is needed for caregivers specifically?
Well, think about when you didn't.
When I didn't feel supported?
Yeah.
The type of support that I believe caregivers need is what was given to me when I was alone. So just a network, a community, being able to have other parents or adult patients to reach out to and get real-time, real-life advice from for situations that they might not have other people to relate to. You know, like just like port-specific things or stuff so specific, like with thalassemia, you know, that you can't talk to with anyone else. I can't talk about that with anyone else other than, you know, my thalassemia community. So that network is huge that I think other caregivers would benefit from.
Absolutely. I think the community is so powerful, and being able to talk on that level because it's so rare, nobody else gets it. So to have someone who gets it is so very special.
It is.
What is your advice to a caregiver out there who might be struggling right now and feeling kind of alone?
Reach out. You're not alone. You know, how can we get these people who are feeling alone to connect with Thal Pals, to connect with the Thalassemia Foundation? I don't know, how would we do it, you know? Well, that would be my advice, is do a little research, find the Thalassemia Support Center or Thalassemia Society close to you, wherever you live, and get connected, get involved, and build relationships, because they're going to help you, and you're going to help other people too, and you're going to feel empowered by sharing your voice and helping other people.
Love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
So
Thank
good
you for having
conversation.
me.
And before we close this one out, I want to bring in your beautiful little girls, Camila and Michaela, to join us for just a couple of questions.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, girls, and chatting. Camila, I want to start with you and ask you what it's like to go to the hospital and be treated for that.
It's really fun when I get to go to the hospital with Ella, because sometimes our transfusion days align. So I get to see her when we go to the hospital.
Yes. Why do you like seeing Ella?
Because she makes it funner, and so then I'm not just alone, and she can relate with me a lot.
Yeah, do you get to ask her questions?
Sometimes.
Yeah. And, I was talking to your mom about being a caregiver, but you're kind of a caregiver to your little sister. What is that like, having a little sister and being able to help take care of her?
It's really fun, but it's annoying when she tries to act like the big sister.
Yeah. How does she try to take care of you?
Yes, but sometimes she tries to boss me around.
Oh, yeah. Michaela, what do you have to say about that?
I don't really boss her around. I just try to do it so I could protect her, because I want to stay with my sister and I don't want to lose her, because it's really fun having a sister and not being alone.
Yeah, that's beautiful. How do you take care of her?
I take care of her at the hospital. I help her. She asked for a heat pack once, and I asked one of the nurses for her.
Yeah. You help her feel comfortable? That's really fun. What do you like about your big sister?
I like that she's sweet, and she's really nice.
Camila, how do you think, how is your sister helpful when you're at the hospital? What does it feel like to have, a sister there to be with you during that time?
It's really fun, but most of the time she's watching on the phone and then I'm watching on the phone, so we're usually doing our different things.
Yeah. But she keeps you company.
Yeah.
Maria, what is it like seeing your kids be so strong, in those moments when you're managing Camila's thalassemia.
It makes me proud to be their mom. Yeah, Camila is brave at the hospital, and Michaela really steps up and makes sure that her sissy is taken care of. And she's really good about, before I used to have to tell her, but now not so much anymore. I'd say, okay, we're going to the hospital. Because for a while she forgot what it was like, since siblings weren't allowed at the hospital during COVID. So when things were easing back into normal, I have to tell Michaela, okay, they're not used to you being there. You got to be quiet as a mouse, okay? Don't make any sounds. Just pretend like you're not there. And she really did. She was just quiet and whispering and tiptoeing and not making a big scene or anything.
Mm-hmm. Camila, what is it like when you meet other patients with Thal?
It's really fun. There's a thalassemia conference every year, and one of my friends that I get to see there that I'm really excited to see is Mosi and Ella. And Sevi hasn't been to one of the conferences yet, but she also has thalassemia, and she's really sweet.
Yeah, and we have lots of friends. There's Nia too, and those are just the ones that are like your age, but you're friends with all the adults and the big kids too.
Does it feel like they're like family? Yeah. What's your favorite thing about your friends with Thal?
That they're really nice about it, and they're pretty open to speaking about it, and they're easy to relate to.
Do you think that they learn from you?
No.
I think they do. I think seeing how brave you are and fearless, and how you embrace your thalassemia, I think is very inspiring.
Thank you.
Thank you to all of our listeners for joining us for this episode. If you're out there feeling like you need and want to get connected, we will leave a link to the Cooley's Anemia Foundation and the Thalassemia International Federation in the show notes below. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share with your friends.